Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It has been a little while. I've been gone for about a month. If you were following my Instagram, you would see that during the month of June, I was spending all of my time on a split collab between the Black Lives Matter movement and our regular Pride Month because I didn't think it was fair for us to be concentrating just on Pride when there was more important things going on in the world. Especially because a lot of people in my community were seeming to forget the fact that the rights we have were fought for in the beginning by Black trans women. So I decided to do a sort of split collab. But I am back on YouTube now and I am ready to start creating regular content and going back to the biz. This comes at a really exciting time, obviously, with Canada's Drag Race becoming so huge, and I am so excited and so overjoyed to see everything going on with Canada's Drag Race, especially as a Canadian queen. Seeing all the local girls who made our scene so great, having a moment to shine on TV and for the rest of the world to see what Canada has to offer, has me so incredibly hyped. And I have been thinking about applying for season 2. Unfortunately, I wasn't the right age around season 1 auditions to apply. I was actually going to turn the proper age a month too late. Let me know in the comments if you guys would be excited to see me on, or if you think I could actually handle, because that would be iconic. So today I just decided that I was going to sit down and film myself getting ready because quarantine's changed me, bitch. And the amount of time that I've spent working on my paint, I wanted to show off some of the newer things from my style that have changed throughout the course of this, and talk a lot about Canada's Drag Race and what I think, how I feel so far, who I want to go to the end. And without any further ado, let's just go right into this. So my brows are done off camera, and it's no loss. I've done my brows on camera. It's brows. So I'm just gonna go into the first step of my routine, which has changed drastically. I've done drag for about 2.5, I don't know, almost 3 years now. And almost this entire time I have considered primer to be a myth. But as makeup has beat up my face over the years, I've started to notice problems with my skin where some portions are way drier than other portions, and some portions flake. Some portions, the foundation doesn't want to stick correctly and it makes weird patches. So I decided to finally go out and get myself a primer. I'm not sure yet if this is my favorite primer, but I'm using the NYX, Can't Stop, Won't Stop primer. Won't Stop primer. And it's a pore mattifying primer. So I'm going to be taking this and I'm just going to be beginning to apply it to my face in a tapping motion. And I started using eye primer before I started using actual face primer because I heard Robert Welsh say that it was good for your eyes. And I liked that so much, eventually I was kind of well, you know what, then I should just get a face primer, right? Because it might make my face products go on as well as it makes my eye products go on. Duh. Canada's Drag Race is just so... Can we talk about Canada's Drag Race for a minute? Canada's Drag Race is so excited to me because as a Canadian queen, I had to come to terms with the fact that I wouldn't be on Drag Race, and that if I was going to be a drag queen, I needed to be okay with that, and that I needed to enjoy myself outside of, that as a goal, and still want to do drag. And I made the decision that drag was something that I loved enough that even though I never had a chance to be on, I'd still want to do it. So imagine my surprise when they finally mentioned that they were going to do Canada's Drag Race. I was blown away. I was flabbergasted. And I couldn't believe that it was happening to my Canada. It was incredible to me. By the way, this is also a new thing in my makeup, is color correcting. Because I never did it before. I didn't think I needed to. My beard hair was also very late developed, so I'm just now having to cover 5 o'clock shadow. So I'm using a color corrector from Hard Candy in basically my beard area, and then I'm going to take this tiny bit and go across here. But I remember when auditions came out, I was so excited and I flooded right to them. I was halfway through figuring it out when I realized that I had to be 18 or 19 by the August of that year, and I had just turned 18. It was still really exciting to me because American Drag Race, you have to be 21 to get on, but for me, because the drinking age is different here, you only had to be 19. So I would have gotten eaten alive anyways if I'd applied back then, so no harm, no foul. But this season, season 2, I really want to apply, and I want to put everything I have into it. And I'm trying to really attract that into my life, because I want to be on it, damn it. I have a chance now, so I'm going to do everything I can to get on, right? Right? So next up, I'm going to be taking a cream stick, and this is from L'Oreal. It's the L'Oreal Fallible Stick in the shade Mink. And I'm going to be going and putting that on in just a few like stripes here, and I'm going to be using my Contour Beauty Blender to blend that out. I normally keep 2 beauty blenders because us drag queens are dirty creatures and we don't normally like wash them a lot. So like I'll have one that I use for highlight, concealer, blending like white creams or whatever I need to, and one that I use for like darker stuff like color correct and my foundation. But I'm going to blend that out on both sides, and then we're going to move to the next step. But let's talk about the queens that we're on, because they are some amazing picks. A lot of them are from my local area too, like Priyanka from Toronto. She is so hilarious, so funny. I've been following her for a good amount of time, and her chaotic energy is going to be the best part of Drag Race Canada this season, I swear. Y'all are gonna love Priyanka. It's actually also particularly exciting to see Boa on. We've been mutuals for a good period of time. She's probably the funniest person who's gonna be on Drag Race Canada. Her personality is so amazing, and it's been so amazing to see her grow as a person these past few years. A bit from a distance, because I've not really been to the Toronto scene much, unfortunately. So the next thing that I'm going to do, it's a technique that I learned from Jackie Aina. I'm going to be taking this concealer. It's the Unique Mineral Touch Concealer, and I'm going to just sort of place a bit of that on my under eye, and I'm going to blend that out. I haven't put on any foundation in this area yet. This is basically going to serve as a backlight, and I'll show you what I mean later as we go forward. But I want to move on to talking about our next girl, Kyne. And let me tell you, excited isn't like a fair word to describe how I felt about seeing Kyne get on. It was like, more like damn right. Like, if she hadn't got on, I would have wondered what was wrong. Everybody, almost anyone growing up doing drag at this time in Canada can say pretty confidently that they've learned at least one thing from Kyne. Her YouTube tutorials have stretched so far and have done so much work teaching people. She's literally called the internet's drag mom for a reason. She's probably she's responsible for almost everything I know about styling hair and making costumes. So having someone like Kyne was incredible, and I'm so it's fitting that she gets this platform now, because she deserves it 100%. So the next thing I'm going to do now, because this foundation, while it does serve a good base layer, it doesn't actually like sort out my face how I want it. So I'm going to be taking this foundation. It's the Unique Mineral Touch, and I'm going to be applying this on top of basically everything. And I'm going to mix it up with my beauty blender and start applying liberal amounts. And I'm just going to basically let this cover basically everything. And bring this down to the neck. Up and over the highlight from earlier. A little bit on the brows. I love how like smooth my face starts to get at this point. And speaking of smooth makeup, let's talk about Lemon. Because Lemon is really fun. I'm really excited to see what she does this season. I don't know if it's mean that I hope she gets in the bottom one more time, because I want to see her lip sync to a song that has a better dance beat than what was on. Because that lip sync was a little bit questionable, and Juicebox easily could have won that lip sync. So I want to see one where like Lemon dominates. Rita Bagas is actually really fun to see on because she was the first queen, one of the first queens I can ever remember interacting with my Instagram as a baby queen. It was a long time ago, but I remember Rita Bagas very clearly. And she's been kicking as a Canadian icon for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna take this stick in the shade Ivory from L'Oreal, and I'm gonna go and place just a bit of under eye foundation. I don't want to go like too thick with it and keep on going in with the stick. I just want to keep it sort of like general in that area. And then I'm going to do a sort of sweeping motion here and there. A little triangle on my chin. And that. And I'm going to start blending this out. I used to put actually a lot more foundation, like light colored foundation in this area, until I found out that you don't need it. So, no. Watching this season, I'm falling in love with Jimbo, 100%. Her energy is unmatchable, and it's chaotic, and it's crazy, and I love it. And I feel like she's going to go very, very, very far on this season, which, like, good. I really hope that Priyanka makes it to the end, and perhaps Boa. I was rooting for Kine, but unfortunately she has been eliminated. I don't agree with her elimination at all. It was really frustrating to watch, especially because when they were doing the filming, like when they were acting it out in front of Jeffrey Boyer-Chapman, Kine was the only person in that group that Jeffrey actually, like, busted a gut over. And you could tell from the editing of how that it was going, Kine was appearing to do very well, and she was appearing to have very good presence. And I didn't understand what happened when she got to the stage, because then all of a sudden, Brooklyn's like, I hate it. And then they all are just consecutively like, yeah, it wasn't good. And when they played the watch back of it, her performance was way cringier than it was when she actually, like, did it in the walkthrough. And while her look was sort of simple, it wasn't the worst on the runway that night, so I don't understand why they were so harsh on her, especially because her makeup had improved incredibly from the first look that she was trying to showcase. So it was just weird to see her go that way. I'm going to be taking this Master Conceal by Face Studios. Is it just Face Studio? Master Conceal by Face Studio. I don't know where this is from. I don't even remember where I got it from. But it's a lighter than light concealer, and I use this on top of the rest of my cream products. So I'm going to go and place just a dab here, just a dab there, just a dab there, and then I'm going to kind of redistribute that like that. We've already lost Juicebox and Kine, unfortunately. But Boa and Pri are still shining strong, kicking in the race, so I can't wait to see how far they will go, even to the end, hopefully. But I can also see Jimbo making it right up there to the end. So it's literally, it could be anyone's game. And I'm so happy to see, like, how professionally it's put together. Like, the editing is amazing, the quality is amazing, the challenges are great, it's just very well and interestingly put together. The judging panel, I'm not sure if I understand, like, the 3 judges thing, because it doesn't that, like, negate the possibility for double saves or double Shantaes if it's a 3-way vote? I don't know, but otherwise, like, I feel like Canada's Drag Race is incredibly well put together, and, like, I would love to participate in it because I really, like, I enjoy, like, the good TV that it's producing, and if I got a villain at it, bitch, I'd embrace it. I'd embrace it. Because can we talk about Kine's villain at it for a minute? Because, like, I understood exactly where she was coming from. When you're a social media, like, influencer, you control people's perceptions of you. People can comment what they want, sure, but you have the power to delete those comments, reply to those comments, leave those comments. You, in essence, have complete and full control over people's perceptions of you. You can edit your appearance, you can do anything you want. And the frustrating thing for a lot of us going into a competition, I had the same struggle even on Instagram competitions. When your drag starts to go outside of your hands and is judged by other people, it causes, like, a panic response because you're not able to control people's perceptions of you anymore. You're being judged. And I think that was a culture shock for Kyne, which she rebounded from really well in episode 2. But like, I don't know. I'm sure they had underlying reasons on why they felt that Kyne was deserving to go. I didn't want to see my superstar go down in flames, guys. I didn't want it. I was watching my screen like, no, take this back. And then I'm going to lightly bake my under eyes. I've actually kind of like tried to decrease the amount of powder that I'm using under my eyes because it got way too cakey and way too flaky because my skin in this area started to like flake off when it gets too dry, which is like really not ideal. So using a little bit less powder has been beneficial. So I'm just sort of going in just my highlight spots. I'm okay to use a bit more powder down here because the texture doesn't really do quite the same thing as in my under eye. Under eye skin is sensitive and it reacts to moisture and being dried out a lot differently than other spots in my face. So I'm gonna brush all this off. I feel like they're not gonna do it this season, but I'm hoping that if I'm on season 2, they do a talent show. Because, bitch, my talent will have never been done before on Drag Race. And it's going to shock and gagify. I am going to come out with a big tartan cloak covering me. It's going to be like a big sculptural piece behind me. And everybody's going to be so confused and be like, oh, that looks so chic. And I'm be wearing something like all leather and black. And it's going to be sexy. But they're going to see this bulk under my arm and they'll be like, what the fuck is that? And then the whole main stage is going to fill with me playing the strains of Orange and Blue or Patty's Leather Breeches as I march down the stage. But I trained for like literally 6 years to get to that position. And I can play some bagpipes. So I feel like it would be very effective for me to march out there with my fucking bagpipes, do some numbers, do some like put them down, do some twirls and flips, do some splits while I'm playing. Oh bitch, they will not be ready. America won't be ready. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking this lighter shade and this lighter shade and applying it in a sort of sizzling motion. And then I'm just going to take a clean brush and file off any excess. Watching now, especially because it's Canada's Drag Race, I'm like paying special attention to the challenges and I'm constantly starting to rethink about stuff like, could I do that? Could I rise to that challenge? And I'm really excited to see how much like design challenges they're going to be thrown because I'm a seamstress. I'm a designer. I make every costume that I wear. So I'd be really excited to do a sewing challenge. And I don't know why everybody like who goes on Drag Race seems to be terrified of sewing challenges because, I mean, I know that you don't have to make every costume to be a drag queen, but like you should have like a knowledge of how to make like something for yourself because like drag queens, like stuff constantly goes wrong for us. We're missing our stuff, we lose our bags. Like you should know how to make something work, like if you need to in the last minute to be professional. But I see so many people cancel now last minute because like the most minor inconvenience happened and it's like, where's the commitment? So I went ahead and whited out my brows with Mayron cream, and I'm gonna go in and make sure that I have some good eye primer. I'm using a eye primer from Urban Decay. It's super smooth, super velvety. So I'm going to be going for a black eye today. And totally thought of that. I'm going to do this super good, guys. You guys are gonna get blown away by how good that I am. So first I'm going to be going in and just sort of placing the shadow, and I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna go in on my inner crease and do the same. She got that, Rona. Like that. Isn't that great? I'm gonna grab this simple packer brush loaded with black, and I'm going to go in and start placing this along the line that I created earlier. So, just thought of this now. I need to put on some powder. Okay, now I can go back to get my eyeshadow on. So I'm gonna go in and continue sort of punching in this black eye. And now I want to go in with this sort of hard-packed fluffy brush. Once I have that sorted out, I'm going to go in with a looser fluffy brush, and I'm going to start trying to go in with my NYX Ultimate palette, and I'm going to take this light shade and this really light tan shade, and I'm going to go in and sort of begin blending out this black at the top. Smoky eye too. So I'm going to cut the crease. I'm going to go in with my Maynard cream, and I'm going to mark a middle center point. And I'm going to try and extend this line one way and the other. I'm going to blend off the edges with a finger before going in with a black and diffusing out those edges. So another thing I switched up during quarantine is my setting spray. I had the NYX Pro Matte Finish setting spray, and now I have the NYX Pro Radiant Finish. And I find that it gives my final makeup a lot more glow, but it's also a lot more useful for adding shimmer, because it's not purposefully mattifying it while you're trying to get it on your face. So I'm going to go in with all of these shadows that I have collected from the James Charles palette and my NYX palette as a sort of combobulation of shimmer. I can take my black and reintroduce it. Now I'm going to take that black and I'm going to begin smoking it down below the lower lash line. And then as a final step, I'm going to go in with a finger and add some shimmer to my inner corner. So I feel like this is a pretty good base point for my eyes, so I'm going to go and do my other eye off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, I got my other eye done off camera, and I think I'm going to go along to brows. Let's get these done. So I'm going to go in. My brows haven't really changed too much. They're pretty standard, but I'm going to go in, make a line, fine, fine, like that. And I can go in and darken the edges. And then I can go in with my Mayron cream and clean this bitch up. And then go in with a good light shade. So now that I have both of my brows on, I am taking my NYX contour palette, and I am sort of taking those shades that I used for the lighter spots on my face earlier, and I've been going in and sort of ombreing out my brow. I'm going to grab those shades on a little powder puff, and I'm just gonna go to town. I'm gonna move on to my nose contour, and I just thought of something because I thought this was really funny. I feel like there should be a nose contour mini challenge on Drag Race or Canada's Drag Race in the future. I feel like that would be so funny to have them all just have like curtains on where they just expose their noses and they paint like their perfect nose contour without even looking. Like, that'd be hilarious. Do well because I know my way around my nose so well. Even though sometimes I go like a little too heavy-handed. And then I'm going to take a little bit of highlighter and I'm going to place that on my nose in the appropriate places. So I use this Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Gold. I used to have a more silvery one, but it started to look chalky on me. And the nose is what? It's what? It's snatched. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and I'm going to put on my blush. It's broken, but like the mirror's broken, but it's super uber cute. So I'm gonna go in on the cheek and pull that up. A little bit in on the forehead. Makes a difference, trust me. And I'm going to finish off the highlighter for the rest of my face. So I'm going to go in with my highlighter here, and I'm just going to layer it in with my finger like that. Just for now. Right there on the lines of my mouth, above the brow bone. Now, as far as I'm concerned, my lips are like really inspired by like Plastique and Naomi Smalls. So the way that I do them is like a little bow like that, and a little bow like that, and then I take it out on a little point on the edges. Like that. So I did have a lip color that went really well with this, and it was a Jeffree Star lip color, but Jeffree Star is a wretched human being, so I no longer own that. I'd like to take a moment to mention that at the time of filming this video, Jeffree hadn't come out with his video yet, and now after watching it and seeing him use the names of Breonna Taylor and the Black Lives Matter movement to deflect from his own terrible behavior, and not provide any links or any resources or anything, and simply use the situation for clout, I'm beyond disgusted, and I've thrown out every single product that I have of his, and I will never support him ever again. So I'm going to be going in with my Lime Crime one instead. It's like a reddish sort of kind of mulberry tint, and I'm going to go in and start layering this lipstick in. So now that I basically have this sort of face going on, I'm gonna get my lashes on, and I applied my glue off camera. Weirdly enough, I use Prozaid, which I don't recommend for everyone because you could possibly hurt yourself with your lashes. But I've been doing it for a while and it works for me, so I'm gonna go in and place my lash really close to the lash line at the start, and then I'm gonna angle it up and outwards on the outer corner. And I feel like a look like this deserves some lower lashes. So Oh. Now, I'm not entirely happy with the shaping of the eyes, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a winged liner, which is difficult to do after the lash, but wish me luck. Now, because it looks like butt on the bottom half, I'm going to go in with a little bit of a Maybelline cream. And clean up the outer edge. There we go. We have something like this. Now while I got my liner out, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna put a beauty mark and put a beauty mark. Just for good measure. And I think I'm good to add a couple finishing touches, and I will be right back. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. And this is the finished look. I thought I'd do something a little bit dark, a little bit S&M, a little bit sultry. It's been a little while since I've done a nice black eye like this. Especially I've not done one on YouTube, so I thought I'd sit down to do that. I had a blast talking about Cannabis Drag Race and sharing my new techniques and styles with y'all. I really hope that I can get on season 2, and when applications come out, I will try my hardest to get in. If you guys would actually be interested in seeing me on, just let me know in the comments, because I'm almost too afraid to apply. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a comment below to let me know. Hit that subscribe button so I can make more content for you guys, because I have a lot planned. And hit that like to let me know that this wasn't complete and utter shit. And I'll be seeing you guys next time.